Today I have a little story of bushrangers, and it's like every country, like England has, well, I suppose Robin Hood, and Australia of course has Ned Kelly and the bushrangers out that came out in the late 19th century to Australia, and they weren't all bad characters but very colourful, and my grandfather used to tell me these wonderful stories, and of course he would exaggerate, of course, but they were fun listening to, and I got really excited as a young fellow listening to them. So this is one that I'm trying to relate. I don't know if it's come out very well, but this is about Ned Kelly. "My name is Ned, and these be me two brothers," said the black-haired, fine-featured man on horseback as they drew up into Mick and Pat's camp. "We be the Kelly gang, and a good Irish descent like you two, and proud of it. Sure, we are not the perfect family, and some people's eyes have done wrong and broken the laws of this country, but the authorities go out of their way to make our lives intolerable, especially for our mother. Today we relieved your village store of its valuables, and without doubt there will be a constable or two seeking our capture. What we would like you two to do for us is to hide and store the small wooden box. The police know you're not criminals like us, so you will be spared any questioning should they come here and ask you. Honestly, what would you do? Could they refuse and have the wrath of these desperate men by saying no, or should they accept and regard the request as a bad dream? Come and join us and have some good bush tea, and we will discuss your request," said Mick as bravely as he dared. "A few minutes' rest will do you and your horses a favour as well." "Is it true what I've heard, Ned, that you have a suit of armour that you use at times to protect you against the shots of the police?" "You heard right, my friend," replied Ned. "It's been used on more than one occasion, and if we weren't in such a rush today, I would show you this metal suit. It can stop bullets, but it can be clumsy. It can be a very clumsy contraption, but like the knights of old, I can ride into battle with it, and to my enemies it appears awesome, threatening, and invincible." Mick and Pat, with much reluctance, mind you, accepted the box, promising to hide it behind the waterfall under a pile of stones in a cave known only to them. And so it was. Not a whisper to anyone, and although they spent a few nights of guilt and regret that they had become involved, they couldn't come up with an alternative answer as to what they should have done. Two constables did visit on horseback during their routine rounds, but spent more time at our friend's camp drinking their meagre supply of ale than discussing the Kelly gang. And thus the months passed finely, when one day the news came that the notorious Kelly gang had been taken in an ambush. Mick and Pat never knew what was contained in that little wooden box, as another big wet, and that's another story, had come through unexpectedly and washed the little stones in the box many miles downstream, never to be seen again. "It's just as well," moped Pat. "We may have been tempted to find and keep what would what held inside. Not for me, replied Mick in a superior voice. I would have returned it to the store. Well, we'll never know the truth about that, but for many years, after both Mick and Pat, our likeable swagmen from the bush, regarded themselves a wee bit as bushrangers.